All right. All right, here we go. Good evening. It's now 6:30, and I call the regular meeting of the Victoria City Council to order. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on our agenda this evening is announcements. The City Council will host a surface water management workshop on Monday, December 8th at 6 p.m. Our Truth in Taxation budget hearing has been scheduled to take place Monday, December 8th at 6:30 p.m. during our regularly scheduled council meeting. We'll be taking formal public input on our proposed 2026 budget and levy. We also invite community members to submit comments about our budget and levy by emailing Assistant City Manager and Finance Director Tricia Pollock at tpollock@victoriamn.gov. All meetings of the City Council are open to the public and held in council chambers at City Hall unless otherwise noted. We encourage anyone who wants to attend our council meetings or workshops in person to contact our city clerk in advance. In other announcements, in observance of the Thanksgiving holiday, city offices will be closed Thursday, November 27th and Friday, November 28th. Regular business operations will resume on Monday, December 1st from 8 to 4:30. We wish everyone a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Small Business Saturday is November 29th. We invite everyone to celebrate the heart of our community by shopping, dining, and exploring right here in Victoria. All our businesses that make our community special. We would also like to invite our entire community to our annual winter lighting event on Thursday, December 4th, from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Bayfront Plaza to help us welcome the holiday season and light up Victoria. We hope to see you there. That concludes our announcements this evening, and I do have a proclamation that I will read from the dais. A proclamation to recognize November 29th, 2025 as Small Business Saturday. Whereas on July 30th, 1953, the Small Business Administration was established by President Dwight D. Eisenhower with the signing of the Small Business Act. And whereas Small Business Saturday is a day dedicated to celebrating small businesses and recognizing the vital contributions they make in strengthening our community. And whereas when consumers choose to shop at small local businesses, they help sustain and strengthen Victoria's economy by supporting growth, entrepreneurship, and long-term prosperity. Whereas as a city, we are committed to supporting local businesses that create jobs, spark innovation, boost our economy, and provide opportunities for individuals to achieve financial success and independence. And whereas this holiday season, the City of Victoria encourages residents to shop locally and support the small businesses that make our community shine, not just today, but all year long. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Mayor Deborah McMillan, along with the City Council of the City of Victoria, do hereby proclaim November 29th, 2025 as Small Business Saturday and urge all residents to support small businesses and merchants not only on this day, but throughout the year as they continue to make Victoria a vibrant place to live, work, and visit. Our next order of business is to adopt the final agenda. Council, can I get a motion to adopt the final agenda?
Motion to adopt the final agenda.
We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on our agenda this evening is our open forum. This is the opportunity for anyone to address the council on an item that is not on the agenda and not in application form that will be coming to the council at a future date. No one has registered to speak in advance, to speak this evening. So if there's anyone in the audience that would like to address the council, please come forward. Seeing no one, we'll now move on to the next item on our agenda, which is the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are routine, administrative, do not require deliberation, or are housekeeping items that are required by law. They're approved with one vote unless someone requests an item to be considered separately. Ms. Hardy, does staff wish to pull any consent agenda items for separate discussion and vote this evening?
None from staff, Madam Mayor.
Any on the council? Or anyone in the audience that wishes to pull an item from the consent agenda for separate discussion and vote? Seeing none, I will now entertain a motion to, we already did the consent agenda, so we're going to move on to our regular agenda. The first item on our regular agenda is 6.1. Oh, did we not do a vote? I'm sorry. Please, I will entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Thank you. We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now on to our regular agenda. First item on the regular agenda, item 6.1, is to consider a final plat and PUD rezoning for West Creek Village First Edition. And presenting on that item this evening is our city planner, Brian McCann. Mr. McCann, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Tonight we are looking at the final plat and PUD rezoning for the West Creek Village development, specifically the first edition. You're all aware of our major subdivision platting process. During the final plat, we look at the final details of the development. You'll see a development agreement coming forward soon. So this is really the last step of the land use entitlement process for the developer. For the previous reviews, you may recall a sketch plat was evaluated back in summer of 2024 for a different proposal that included mostly townhomes and a few single-family homes. They since had a revised sketch plat earlier this year for their current submittal with the townhome, twin home, single-family products, and that went through the preliminary plat approval process this past June. So as I mentioned, these are the two requests that we will be looking at tonight, the final plat and the PUD rezoning. For the location area, it consists of two parcels, approximately 89 acres in size. They're located north of County Road 10, Engler Boulevard. They're west of the Marsh Hollow development and the Hunters Brook Creekside development. They're also south of the Marsh Lake Hunt Club, and a portion of the Twin Cities Western Railroad bisects the site here. The total development will consist of 50 single-family homes, 18 twin homes, and 56 townhomes, but this first edition only consists of those 56 townhomes and 13 of those 50 approved single-family homes. The existing conditions, the area is generally flat, vacant farmland with wetlands throughout the site, as shown on the screen in the colored areas. There's also a portion of West Chaska Creek that runs through the northern border. And there are also some Xcel Energy transmission lines running through the south side of the property as well. So here's the final plat that is being presented this evening. You can see highlighted in red in this area adjacent to outlots C and D. These are the proposed 56 townhomes. And then just a little bit further to the east here is those 13 single-family homes. They also have areas dedicated for future development for those remaining single-family homes and twin homes that I mentioned earlier. And then all these areas in blue are open space areas that are being dedicated with the plat for wetlands or stormwater areas. And then lastly here, these are the public roads as well as a proposed public park and a proposed public trail that will connect to the Marsh Hollow development to the east. In our comprehensive plan, this was recently just approved for a comprehensive plan amendment that the City Council authorized for some minor adjustments to the low density residential area from medium density that I'm highlighting with my cursor here, as well as inclusion of the conservation residential district on the north side of the extension of Creekside Lane here. And then additionally, a small change from a little bit of commercial area to open space. Looking at annexation and rezoning, this property was approved for annexation by Laketown Township and the State Office of Administrative Hearings, so it automatically gets that agricultural zoning. That's why we're looking at the rezoning this evening. They are proposing a PUD with underlying R1 for the single family and R3 for the twin homes and townhomes. I will note that we're only looking at the patio setbacks for the townhomes, which I'll highlight in a slide here in a moment. but all of those require rezonings, which, as you know, are discretionary. So as part of the PUD process, we adopt the ordinance at final plat, and the purpose is to allow innovative, creative, and flexible development. So looking at the deviations here, highlighted in red, these are all of what was reviewed at the preliminary plat phase and were approved by the city council for them to proceed with a rezoning ordinance. The ones that I'll note that are different here are the inclusion of those R3 townhomes. They're requesting a reduced setback of the rear from 10 feet to 6 feet and the side setback from 5 feet to 2 feet. That's pretty typical with a townhome development. They have tighter lot lines because the units are right up next to each other. We've approved similar setbacks for some of our recent developments like Victoria Ridge, you may recall. So that deviation isn't too far off from what we've recently approved as well. Then looking at lighting and signage, they have streetlights proposed throughout the development that I've circled in red throughout this first edition area, as well as a proposed monument sign that they have on the corner of Marshwood Trail and Creekside Lane. We'll take a closer look at that to make sure there aren't any interference with sight vision or vision clearance triangles at that intersection when we get a building permit for it. Then for the parking, they meet our minimum requirements for the single family and the townhome products. They are also adding an additional 31 guest parking stalls with this development, which I highlighted in the areas in red along that Creek Run Court, which would be a private street. So based on everything that they've provided to us, we believe they meet the parking minimum requirements. Then looking at the pedestrian connections, they're showing 2 8-foot trails, one being on the south side of Creekside Lane here, and the other connecting to that Marsh Hollow neighborhood that I mentioned earlier. They're also showing a portion of 6-foot sidewalk connecting the public cul-de-sac Street A to the private drive on Outlot C here. And then also public sidewalks throughout the cul-de-sac here and the remaining portions of streets D and E in the development. Then looking at landscaping, their spacing meets our 35 to 45 foot spacing requirement. They're placing them appropriately from intersections. They're meeting the minimum planting requirements per our code as well as the open space requirements. And our townhomes are required to have foundation plantings, which are indicated on the plans as well. Looking at parkland dedication, they need to provide 2.1 acres or just over 220,000 parkland dedication. Some of those deductions that are allowed include trails that are outside of wetlands and the proposed 1/3 acre park about, so their remainder comes out to be just under 1.5 acres or about 151,000 that they would have to provide in cash. Looking at grading and stormwater management, they have to meet the Carver County WMO rules, including wetland impact mitigation, and they have to include wetland buffers and plat them in outlots that are deeded to the city. They've met all those requirements, and then additionally, the stormwater facilities that they're showing should have appropriate pond access routes, and they cannot encroach onto private property. So the applicant's meeting those as well. Looking at site utilities, they will be extended from Creekside Lane from the Marsh Hollow development to the east. Just a note, I'm sure council is all aware at this point, but well number 6 has been completed and permitted for pumping by the DNR, which is an exciting advancement as we start looking at our south growth area. But just a note for everyone, we are still in need of a future site for an additional water treatment plant. We don't expect that to come with this development, but it's an important note to keep in mind as we start looking westward further. Then with the Planning Commission meeting, a public hearing was properly advertised in the newspaper, the Waconia Patriot. We also mailed to property owners within 350 feet of the development. We posted it online and at City Hall. We did receive a few complaints and comments from some of our residents in the Marsh Hollow neighborhood prior to the Planning Commission meeting regarding ongoing noise and traffic. They are doing some preliminary grading out there right now, which was an agreement that was approved by council. So just some general comments there from the rental residents of Marsh Hollow, and then also concerns that they were improperly notified of the development process. So the Planning Commission duly held that public hearing. We received one comment during that meeting regarding those concerns I just mentioned. The Planning Commission did end up recommending approval unanimously 7-0 after discussion about those proposed PUD deviations I highlighted in red on a prior slide. They also discussed the potential of upgrading that red sidewalk that I noted on the pedestrian connection slide up to a full trail. That's something that our Public Works is interested in maintaining if it were upgraded to a full 8-foot trail. And then just general timing and curiosity of future phases to finish the rest of the build out of this development. So with that, I have some suggested conditions of approval that were recommended by this Planning Commission. They're pretty boilerplate. The only two that I'll note that are pretty important are that we need a copy of an executed easement agreement with Xcel Energy for those transmission lines, and that any future tree removals on the custom graded private lots will need to be mitigated with future phases. So with that, I have 3 motions for you this evening. Staff can stand for any questions, and representative of the application is in the audience as well.
Thank you, Mr. McCann. Can we back up to one slide? Is that the easement agreement with Xcel Energy has been executed? We're just awaiting a copy of, is that correct?
Mayor and council members, they're in the process of it. It should be coming soon. We just haven't received it yet.
Okay, and then I have a question about the changing the sidewalk into the street. Can I see, or into a trail? Can you show me that picture again?
Yes, Mayor and council members, this small portion in red between the public cul-de-sac and the private driveway is the area that we're talking about that our Public Works has interest in upgrading to a full 8-foot trail instead of a 6-foot sidewalk.
Okay, that makes sense there. Okay. Council, questions, comments?
I'll just have a comment that when this came to us back in June for preliminary plat approval, we amended the approval so that there would be sidewalk all along Street D, and I don't see that in this this final approval.
Are you saying on both sides of Street
Yeah,
D?
so at that time, it would have been Street D. And we have amended the resolution passed to have both sidewalks on the street. So I don't see the sidewalk condition that we had for approval of this in this final approval. So that was a condition that was needed to get to this point, and that's missing. So we should have our conditions page amended to incorporate the resolution that we passed at the June 23rd meeting, I think it was.
Mayor?
Yes.
And I'm
Ms. Hardy.
just double checking, as Councilmember Evansky has noted that, and I do see that there was a motion to amend the resolution passed to add this additional sidewalk, and that did pass 4-0
Okay.
on June 23rd.
I recall that as well, yeah.
Okay. So we will make that adjustment. Thank you, Mr. McCann. Councilmember Evansky, anything else?
No, that's it.
Great. Anything else from council? All right.
I mean, it's a
Councilmember
challenging
Patterson?
property, and I know that Lennar has done a good job of trying to come up with a way to fit these things in here. So I think they've worked with us over the course of time and done a great job with it.
Yeah, I know we had to meet some pretty aggressive density requirements. All right. Any other comments? Seeing no more discussion, if you can give us the motions page, Mr. McCann, thank you, please. I will entertain the first motion, please.
Make a motion to adopt the resolution approving the final plat for West Creek Village First Edition.
We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Mayor, can I just inquire of staff? So to the extent the sidewalk issue that was just raised is brought up, is that covered by the reference in the resolution to the staff report, et cetera, or is that should we be explicitly including that in the resolution here?
I think we should add it.
Yeah, sorry, I was too slow on the uptake there, Mayor.
Okay.
Maybe could we reconsider the approval of that to add that because I don't think it's expressed in the resolution currently.
All right. Let's make a friendly, do we want to do a friendly amendment?
Sure, that's fair. Yeah, that's
Okay,
fine.
we'll do a friendly amendment to that resolution to ensure that that sidewalk is added onto the staff report.
So should we,
You want me to do it again?
so should we just make a motion to add the resolution that was passed at June 23rd council meeting to the conditions 1 through 9?
Looking at Attorney Vos for his
Yeah,
professional.
Mayor and council, I think the mayor was alluding to the maker of the motion saying, yeah, let's add that, and the seconder saying yes. And then I think if everyone consents to that, you will have added that to the resolution. So that's the intent of the maker of the motion and the seconder, and everyone, you may want to take the vote again after you confirm that with the maker and the seconder. You can take the vote again to make sure we're all on the same page.
Okay. All right. Did you start that, Councilmember?
Yeah, so
Let's start afresh, shall we?
I will take the mantle on making a motion to include the resolution from the June 23rd regular council meeting to ensure sidewalks are added on the, what would have been Street D, the entire length of the subdivision to be included in the conditions for approval of the final plat.
Very good, thank you. We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Was Councilmember Roberts, yes.
Thank you.
And just to say it out loud, so the subsequent motion is going to replace the first one, just so we
That is correct.
said it out loud, so we all agree with that.
Yes,
Good.
that is
Okay.
correct.
Yep,
Thank you. This is why we pay you the big bucks, Attorney.
that's right. I'm too slow though, Mayor. I'll be quicker on the.
Is there anything we should add to number 2 right away?
Okay, wait a second. Did we vote for that? All in favor signify by saying aye.
We already did.
Okay. All right. All right, I will entertain the second motion.
Motion to adopt ordinance 485ZC approving a PUD rezoning for West Creek Village.
Thank you, Councilmember Roberts. We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I will entertain our third motion.
Motion to adopt the resolution approving summary publication of ordinance 485ZC.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Rife. We have a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. On to our next item, which is item 6.2, considering a preliminary plat, conditional use permit, site plan and building materials review, and early grading request for Downtown West 3rd Edition. Presenting on that this evening is, again, City Planner Brian McCann. Mr. McCann, back to you.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Yeah, we got quite a few applications with this one tonight. Back to that major subdivision process. As you know, the preliminary plat is the most important part. That's where the major entitlements are granted and the majority of the land use applications that we receive, such as any PUDs, CUPs, or variances. So we will move forward with that. For the development team, this has been a large group of individuals that have been working on this development over the last several months, including City of Victoria staff and City Council members, Monarch Development, SW Group, Saunter Architects, Confluence, DJR, Civil Site Group, Excelsior Bay Partners, and the Music Camp Group. So just a little bit of background on why you're seeing 3rd edition and not 2nd edition tonight. As you may recall, the Downtown West 1st edition was the Olivine Apartments building. And third edition is what we are reviewing tonight. Downtown West second edition is anticipated to be coming to a council meeting before the end of the year here, looking at a lot line readjustment for outlots A and B from the Downtown West first edition plat. The intent of that is to align it with the TIF district. This won't result in any new buildings or any new lots. It's just to clean things up as we start moving forward with Downtown West third edition. As part of that, Planning Commission will not review it. It will be going directly to the City Council. So moving on, looking at the location area, there are two city-owned parcels, that outlot A and B that I just mentioned, totaling about 12.5 acres. It's located north of Highway 5 and Steiger Lake Lane, south of the Carver Park Preserve, west of the Downtown West First Edition, the Olivine Apartments building, and east of County Road 11 and some existing businesses there, the Dairy Queen and the daycare. So this first phase of the proposed development, what they are looking at doing is proposed uses for 4 commercial buildings, 2 condo townhome buildings, a mixed-use building, and an activated public plaza. For the site conditions, currently it's vacant land with rolling hills and some areas of tree coverage, which you can see on the aerial in the image on the right. Utilities are available from Steiger Lake Lane and some adjacent businesses, but they will be primarily coming from that extension of Steiger Lake Lane that's currently under construction. This area is also entirely within our shoreland overlay district because it's within 1,000 feet of Steiger Lake and Lake Auburn. So this property has a lot of history. You may recall back during the sketch plat discussion, the city has owned it since the early 2000s. It's always been envisioned for this type of future Downtown West expansion. As part of that, a downtown master plan was adopted in 2016 during the last comp plan cycle. And Downtown West First Edition, or that Olivine apartment building, was really the first step of this back in 2022. An RFP did go out late last year, and Victoria DW LLC was selected. And as I mentioned, a sketch plat was presented to the Planning Commission and the City Council back in September on this proposed development. So here is the phasing plan for this development. The areas primarily in green are that phase 1 that I mentioned. Those are the areas that we'll be looking at this evening. That's what's being considered for preliminary plat approval. Any future phases, phase 2 here with additional residential, or 3 or 4 here, those will all have to receive preliminary plat approvals at a later date. We're really focusing on the area in green tonight. So here is a copy of the overall plat that was submitted and included with your case. Starting with the first area in red, this is the lot proposed for the 2 townhome condo buildings for a total of 40 units within those 2 buildings. Then moving on, central to the site is that mixed-use building. And then our public open space areas, outlot F is that activated plaza, and outlot A is some additional public open space area adjacent to those townhome condo buildings. And then the 4 commercial buildings right off of that Main Street area highlighted in yellow on the 4 corners here. And then 2 public parking lots, one being in outlot E right off of Highway 5 and the other being within that central green area adjacent to the Olivine apartment building. And then here is the street and public parking lot network. I neglected to add outlot H into that, so my apologies for that. But this is all the public right-of-way that you can expect within this development. And then lastly, those future phases that I mentioned, 2, 3, and 4 here. So looking at our comprehensive plan, it's guided for downtown mixed use, which allows between 24 and 75 units per acre. It envisions this type of development that's being proposed, mixed use, offices, retail, restaurants, all those things that the City Council has been looking for with future development in this area. For this phase, we are looking specifically at those townhome condo units and the mixed-use units when we calculate density. So we're right in that 24 to 75 unit range with about 27.8 units per acre. When we start looking at future phases, we'll have to get guidance again from our Metropolitan Council representative just to make sure we're in alignment with our comprehensive plan, as we want to make sure we get sewer permits for this development. So for the zoning, it's currently zoned Central Business District, which allows mixed-use buildings and various commercial uses with conditional use permits. I'll note that retail and restaurants are permitted uses, so we don't expect any conditional use permits to come forward for those if they are planned for this area. And then also, we don't have any bulk standards in our CBD except for a maximum height of 50 feet. All the buildings within this phase are compliant except for that mixed-use building. They're proposing at 55 feet, necessitating a CUP for that item. So when we're looking at conditional uses, we want to make sure that they meet our general requirements listed in our zoning code for the comprehensive plan, health and safety, compliance with all our other standards, that they have adequate public infrastructure, they're appropriately screening and landscaping the area, providing the correct architectural requirements, that they meet the zoning, and they're not generating too much traffic. In this case, they're meeting all the requirements for these general CUPs. And just to note that additional CUPs may come forward depending on what type of amenities for the residential uses or what types of commercial uses may be coming within these spaces. So for the streets, they have multiple access points noted in green along Steiger Lake Lane for this development, as well as a single access entry from Highway 5 and a right in, right out proposed here from Highway 5. As we look at pedestrian connections, they are showing sidewalks throughout the area. As you can see in blue, they're everywhere, so connection shouldn't be a problem down here. Looking at a regional trail extension as well from the Highway 5 corridor in front of two of the commercial buildings that would connect to another trail on the south side of Steiger Lake Lane here, which will actually extend down and have a connection to the Lake Minnetonka Regional Trail as well. Now looking at parking, with this plan, they are showing 204 publicly available parking stalls throughout this development. Based on the retail and commercial mixed use, all the commercial uses that we evaluated, they would need 210 parking stalls. Now it's our downtown utilizes that shared parking, as you all know, so it's expected that one user, it's park once and they walk to several areas. It's not park and go. So that was the intent with this design. And then just an additional note that all the residential buildings will have parking underneath for their residents as well. So there's additional parking that's not being seen here. Excuse me. Looking at landscaping and tree preservation, they're meeting our minimum requirements for spacing of boulevard trees and tree types. They've also placed foundation plantings where practical within our CBD. Also of note, our CBD is exempt from open space and minimum planting requirements, so those weren't taken into account here, but they have provided over 250 trees and hundreds of shrubs incorporated within this development as shown on the screen. And then just of note, our tree preservation standard, as I mentioned, there's some pockets of current trees on the site out here. With a downtown urban development like this, we anticipate that all those trees are going to be taken out, so nearly 100% removal, if not 100%. But the replacement requirement is going to be significantly less because of the area that they're developing in. So they are planting as many trees and shrubs as possible to make up for those tree preservation standards, just so that the council is aware. Then looking at our shoreland overlay district, it is entirely within that shoreland district within 1,000 feet of Steiger Lake and Lake Auburn, both of which are recreational development lakes. All the buildings are meeting the minimum 150-foot ordinary high water line setback, and the entire development is coming at about 71% impervious, which meets the maximum 80% requirement. And then any residential unit or building in shoreline that has 4 or more units is required to go through a tier analysis. We do have an exemption built into code if they meet 3 requirements, which are that they're not providing riparian access, that's consistent with the density in the comp plan, and that they meet all the other requirements of the shoreline district. So all of these standards are being met, so we anticipate all of these are going to meet that exemption. So they will not have to go through that process, and our DNR area hydrologist has confirmed that. Looking at signage, lighting, and architecture, as I mentioned in the last presentation, we really look at signage at building permits when they're submitted for individual buildings. So we'll take a closer look when those come in. They do not have any proposed total development signage in the renderings that were shown. And then they are providing our standard downtown light poles throughout this development, meeting the height and illumination requirements. And all the buildings that they have submitted have been great. They meet all our building variations, altered roof designs, all the enhanced architecture that's required in our central business district. So here are some renderings of the mixed-use building that were included in your report, as well as renderings for those commercial spaces, including a portion of that Victoria Community Center, which was previously discussed at the sketch plat. As we look at park dedication, their requirement is just over an acre, or about 116,000, and dedications for that we anticipate to be deducted are for the public active plaza, that outlot F that I highlighted earlier, as well as the community center I just highlighted in the last slide. So with both of those reduced from their amount, it comes down to just under a half acre, or about 50,000. Looking at grading and stormwater management, it has to meet the Minnehaha Creek Watershed District rules. There is one wetland present here where they are showing that regional area. So we're working with the MCWD right now to get the approvals for that. We anticipate those should be coming shortly, and the applicant has been working closely with them as well. But that one area is just one of 3 areas of note for a proposed new regional stormwater for this entire development that the staff has been working with the MCWD as well. Then for site utilities, as I mentioned earlier, they're proposed to come from the extension of Steiger Lake Lane, connect to all the buildings, as well as some of our existing businesses on the west side as well. So we held a public hearing with the Planning Commission at their meeting on November 18th. It was properly advertised and sent to property owners that are adjacent to the site. We did not receive any comments at that meeting or prior to that meeting, and the Planning Commission did recommend approval unanimously 7-0, discussing the additional parking that was incorporated from sketch plat, as well as any hint at potential users for the commercial spaces. There was also some questions about the Highway 5 access and possible future development areas. So with that, I have some suggested conditions of approval that were recommended by the Planning Commission. Similar to the last time, a lot of these are pretty boilerplate. A few of them at the bottom are worth noting, such as if they want to do the early grading that's included with the report this evening, they would need to receive approvals from you tonight that MnDOT has to approve that access from Highway 5, and that any changes in commercial uses in the future have to meet our minimum parking requirements. Aside from that, I have 2 sample motions for you this evening. Staff can stand for questions, and we have multiple representatives of the application in the audience.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. McCann. Council, I'll now open the floor for discussion. Any questions, comments?
I mean, I don't really have anything to say. I mean, just, we've talked about this a lot. We've had a lot of workshops on this, and I mean, I think this has met our vision of what we're looking for, right? A community space where people can use, and I think, you know, the look, the feel of it has, you know, been knocked out of the park, and I think it's exactly what we've been looking for, so.
Great.
I don't know if there's much more to say than that for me.
Good. I do, if you want to back up to that, I'm curious about the access to the site, the Highway 5 situation. Way back, right there. So this purple area is a right-in, right-out, but we are hoping to get that to be a full access, possibly.
Mayor and council members, I'll
Mr.
defer to Mr. Runk here.
Welcome. Hi. Good to see you.
Access, as we've shared, is really important for the future success of the restaurants and retail we're working with on this site. So staff is working directly with MnDOT and working towards that solution. And I believe it's a condition of final plat approval that gets done is what we're looking forward to.
Okay, thank you. Mr. McCann, so is any of this a full access at this point?
It would be ideal if the MnDOT access could be full. That's what we're going into the conversations with, that we would like it to be full. But there's a very real possibility it could just be right in, right out.
So at this point, there's not like a roundabout
Correct.
planned for this area?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Runk. Questions?
How could it be full? Isn't that proposed to be a divided highway up to that point? Or have I lost my mind on that? I don't know how you would, I mean, taking the left out of there is going to be a nightmare.
Council member and mayor, based on the plans here, I believe what's being shown here is a median. I'm not sure if that's still up for discussion with Highway 5. It's something we're working through it with our discussions with MnDOT, though.
So do we anticipate that would be signaled?
No,
No, not signaled, but full access.
potentially.
Okay.
It's like, as I mentioned, it's likely going to be a right in, right out, but we're starting the conversation asking for the most.
Okay, and that single entry, that red access, tell me a little bit about that. Is that just again, a right in, right out access, or is it just an in, like a?
Mayor and council members, that's basically an off-ramp from Highway 5. It's only going to be taking traffic from Highway 5. No one will be able to turn down it. Once they do get to this point along Street A, they would be able to go left or right.
Okay, so they can't go back onto Highway 5 on that red road.
Correct.
They have to go around to County Road 11 at this point, or else that purple
Correct.
spot. Okay, got it. Very good. All right, council, other questions, comments?
Mayor,
Yes,
I have a question, if that's all
yes,
right.
please.
Brian, another slow on the draw. I should have caught you before the meeting. One of the two CUPs, one of the CUPs is for development in the shoreland area. The other is for a building to exceed 50 feet, I believe. Where is the constraint on that building height going to be expressed? Is that going to be just by incorporation of the plans? And what is the building height that's proposed?
Correct. So it will just be incorporated, as you mentioned, into the conditional use permit. I built it into the resolution this evening. This area in green, our standard is 50 feet. They're proposing 55 feet, excuse me. And you can exceed that with a conditional use permit per our central business district section of code.
Good, thanks.
Mr. Vos, any other concerns about that?
Very good. No, that's good.
All right, thank you. All right, council. Last thoughts, comments, questions? All right. All right, seeing no more discussion, I am looking for a couple of separate motions here, and I will entertain the first.
Motion to adopt the resolution approving a preliminary plat, conditional use permits, and site plan and building materials requests for Downtown West, 3rd edition.
Very good, thank you. I have a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. I will entertain a second motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the early grading agreement for Downtown West 3rd Edition.
We have a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. We have no more items to come before the body this evening, so we'll move on to reports and emerging issues. Attorney Vos, you're up first.
Mayor, council, I do not have anything to report. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Hardy, anything from staff this evening?
Nothing from staff, Madam Mayor.
And any members of the council have anything to share this evening?
Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving.
Very good. Thank you very much. Let's wrap it up then. There are no more items to come before the body, so I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second?
All in favor signify by saying.
Second my own motion.
Second.
Okay, let's give the second to Councilmember Roberts. We are having so much struggle this evening with our Roberts rules. Okay, the second, a motion by Councilmember Evansky, seconded by Councilmember Roberts. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We stand adjourned.
It'd be nice.